Um, so the topic of the class is finding the purpose of our life. Why we come into this world? Who really are we? What are we? Why are we doing here? Why we go through everything that we go through? What is the purpose behind everything that we go through in this life? Is it a test? Is it destiny? Is it written? And who am I and what am I supposed to do? And is there a reason behind everything that I go through? And this individual path is different for everyone. There is a different reason and there is a path for every individual. And it's never the same. What we go through and what your responsibilities and what your potential is quite different from everybody else in the world. Every one of us has a spark of the life force within us, which is individually designed and made for you. We have a part of God that is within us, and it has its own purpose. So let me ask you this question. What do you think your purpose is in your life? Is anybody interested to share? Why do you think you're here? Juna.
I think we come to the world to correct our mistake we had it before.
Okay. That's part of it. We're here, especially if we believe that reincarnation exists and we come back to do certain correction. That's part of the purpose. But is there a bigger picture of us being in this world?
Designed to.
Juna?
It's designed to.
It's designed, but why are we here? What is our purpose in life?
To suffer.
To suffer?
That's one of the rabbis said. We're here to suffer.
Well, I'm not a rabbi. This is not a religious class. This is Kabbalah. So no, we're not here to suffer. Let me make it actually very clear. Let me make something very clear. Let me establish something very clear. We're here to enjoy our life 24/7. We're here. One of the reasons we are here is to really enjoy the beneficence of the Creator. He didn't make us to suffer. He doesn't like us to suffer. He likes us to succeed in everything that we do. He loves us to have a life full of happiness and fulfillment. That's why it says in the Torah, choose life. Choose life. So no, let's don't act like a victim. Let's talk real Kabbalah. Why are we here then? Who are we? What are we? Who are we? Does God need us?
No.
Doesn't God doesn't need us?
Yeah, he needs us.
He needs us.
Yeah.
Why does he need us?
As a Jew or as a human?
As a human being. Yeah, no, it's not about just Jew or non-Jew tonight. It's as a human being, as a soul.
We're part of it.
We're part of it. So why did he create us?
So we can enjoy what he created and make it better.
Nice. So we can enjoy what he created it.
Not to be empty the world. So I mean, it has to be people living in this world that they do a lot of things.
Juna.
Maybe he needs us to be able to express himself through us.
Very nice. Very nice. So he created us to express his goodness. Juna.
Two things.
Yes.
Tikkun
Okay.
Olam,
A correction,
Evolution
global
all the
correction.
time.
Yes.
and also it's like a father. He wants to give, so as a receiver, he created us.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
We are the children of the God.
Beautiful. So, Juna,
To be thankful for everything that we got.
he wants us to be thankful. You think he expects us to be thankful? Yes? Okay. Okay. Yes.
Test us.
Test us. Why does he want to test us?
How well we can do in life.
Okay. In Kabbalah, yes.
I think we ask God to be here because of we don't want to get a bread of shame,
Bread of shame, yes.
So we ask God to be here.
So, generally, all the yes.
I think we are here to do the tikkun first.
Yes.
The second thing is to help everybody else to accomplish their wishes. Help them anyway.
Very nice. Very nice. All the answers that I heard tonight is partially right. If we go back to the source, to the reason behind why he created this physical world, why he created all these souls and human beings, in a nutshell, I don't want to go to class 1 of the basic Kabbalah, he created this physicality, this illusionary world of physicality, to manifest his goods, his beneficent, his blessing. What we know of the Creator, what we know of God, is a consciousness, is this amazing energy consciousness, this intelligence, who his being is all about being good, being sharing, revealing everything that he has. So he created this physical illusionary world. I keep calling it illusionary for a good reason that I get back to it. So he can manifest everything that he has. Let's say if you're a father or you're a mom, you have children. Why do you bring children into the world? Because you want to share with your children everything good that you have to share with your children. So he created all these vessels. I like to call us vessels, an entity who can receive his benefit. So he created every one of us to manifest, to make manifest, physical manifest, everything that is about him. So every one of us is supposed to show or create or to manifest part of him. Fariba shows an aspect of God. Ramin shows different aspect of God. Dennis represents a different aspect of God. Every one of us shows or manifests or supposed to manifest something that belongs to him. That is his essence. Is it clear? Because we learned that before the Big Bang, is it cold now?
Yes, it's in my bag.
We have to keep turning it on and off to keep everybody.
It's warm on this side.
Yeah, no.
But I want to sit here
So the purpose of creation, according to Kabbalah, is to make manifest of all the light force, all the benefits of the light force. Let's say you want to drink some water. In order for you to drink the water, you make this bottle so you could make this water accessible for yourself. So everything that he created, not just human being, the birds, the animals, the trees, the flowers, the cosmos, all the planets, everything that he created was only for one purpose and one purpose only. To show, to manifest that intelligent force that we call the Creator, God, the light, whatever you like. And what's so interesting is that all his creation, except human being, follows the rules of his creation. The birds, animals, all the fishes in the world, the plants, even one small grass follows the order of the Creator. Nobody disobey God's intention. You know, an apple tree would always bring apples to this world. If it's a red apple, it's always bring the red apple. If you give it the nutrition, the apple tree will always brings what it's supposed to do. A bird always stays a bird, always does what it's supposed to do according to the law of the nature that he or she was created or it was created. There is only human being who have free will, and we are the only creatures that we don't necessarily obey the laws that he created. Maybe that's why he created Bible and the Torah, and it says, you know what, actually in this section of this week, it says, please follow my direction. Please stay with the GPS that I give you. Don't get out of the road. Stay with this and you're going to be just fine. You know, follow this instruction, follow this precept, and you're going to be fine. But then we are so smart. We're so smart that we think we know better than him. We do things not according to everything that he recommends, and we get off the road. Why do we do that? What is this free will that he gave us? What is the difference between us and the rest of his creation? One thing that he gave us that he didn't give to the rest of the creation was he gave us part of his consciousness. Part of his consciousness. Part of his free will and part of the power of creation that he had. And what he gave us, what he gave to the human being is the much higher level of consciousness that he gave to the birds, to animals, to vegetation, to the stars. Everything follows exactly as they're supposed to be. The sun shines all the time. He's not going to decide, no, you know, because the moon is not so pretty, I'm not going to shine today. Or moon said something behind me, so I'm not going to talk to him anymore. No, they all follow exactly as they're supposed to do. When he created the vessel that we call human being, and he gave us this consciousness, so when we receive his light, when we receive his energy, we became somehow like God. We became like God. So we wanted it to be like him. We now have an essence of him, so we wanted to be like him. So he created this illusionary world so we can earn being like him. That's the class. This is the class. This is the understanding who we really are. We're here to manifest all his lights, to earn it, and to be just like him. And we are happy, in reality, we are happy when we act according to what he wants, which is being a sharing, being a loving, being caring, being compassionate. Everything that we fall from his kindness, every time we become reactive, every time that we become sad, every time that we become angry, every time that we have doubt, then we're not really fulfilling what we're supposed to fulfill. And that's when we are not happy with ourselves. But every time we go through this process of creating the light that he originally gave us, and we make manifest of that light, we're happy with ourselves. You know, you've all seen this chart that represents Kabbalah. It's called the 10 Sefirot, 10 level of a different energy. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of what this is, and then we can understand how does it work for us, and what is it exactly, how is it related to tonight's class. There are 10 different levels of energy, and it starts from Ein Sof, which means the light itself, the creator itself, the energy of the light, or the extension of the light of God, and it goes through different phases until it reaches to a place where we call it Malchut, which is our physical world. Actually, these 10 Sefirot are categorized at 4 different phases. In Kabbalah, we call them 4 phases. The first phase is Keter al-Chokhmah. The second phase is Binah. The third phase is these 6 Sefirot together. And the last phase, the 4th phase, is Malchut. That's why the name of God has the 4 letters of Yud, K, Vav, K. The 4 letters that we don't pronounce it, and we call it God. These 4 letters, it's actually are these 4 phases that I explained to you. Keter, which means the crown, the beginning, the seed, and Chokhmah, which means wisdom. It's the Yud of the Yud, K, Vav, K. Everybody knows the Yud, K, Vav, K, right? So, Keter, which means the beginning, Chokhmah, which means the wisdom, is the Yud of the Yud, K, Vav, K. What is that? What is the Yud? What is this first phase? Every time that something comes to your head, every time that an idea comes to your head, you all of a sudden you feel like going to a movie tonight. All of a sudden you feel like coming to this class. That idea, that thought level, that thought process that came to your head for you to make a decision to where to go, what to do, what to say, or all of a sudden you come up with that, I have a great idea for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to go to Palm Springs. That thought that comes to your head, that very beginning aspect of thought, it's always come from Ein Sof and grows through these 2 Sefirot, and they call it the first phase. So let's make something very clear. I want everybody to understand. Every thought that comes to your head, every thought that comes to your head, it's from the light force. And as long as it stays in the thought level, it's the thought that Creator injected into your consciousness. So what is that thought? Why God tells you, tomorrow go to Palm Springs, or tomorrow go to Malibu, or tomorrow go shopping, or tomorrow you should study, or tomorrow you should do this business, or tomorrow you should visit such and such. That thought is the thought of God, and there is a purpose behind it. He wants you to do exactly as the thought comes, because there is a benefit for you from that thought. Let's say you think of, I should buy this phone. Tomorrow I'm going to go buy iPhone 5, right? That thought comes to your head about purchasing that iPhone. It's to your benefit because he wants you to have this phone for a good purpose, for a very, very good purpose. So he puts that thought into your head. So it comes to these 2 Sefirot, which we call Keter al-Chokhmah. It's the Yud, it's the light force. It's just light. It doesn't become manifested in any way. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Then, when you dwell on that thought, it's not a bad idea for me to buy the iPhone. I could make use of it. Or you could tell yourself, actually Palm Springs is nice. I should go to Palm Springs. I could use a vacation to do whatever I need to do. So when you come to understanding that that thought is good, now you're in phase 2 of the thought process or the creation process, and you are what we call in Binah, which means understanding. we should know that everything that God created, all His creation, everything goes through these 10 Sefirot in order. In order. When a bird is born, from the time that it's in the egg, when the bird in the egg is in the process of going through these 10 Sefirot, all his creation goes through this Sefirot according the way he wants it, except human being, that after understanding what the thought was, then goes through these lower Sefirot, which we call process, and then we have some form of free will how to do the process. Now the third phase. So the first phase is the Yud, when you have understanding, when you think, oh, New York, it's good. I'm going to go to New York. It's a great idea to go to New York. That's the Hey. That's now that thought is becoming more a reality, but still it's a thought process. Nothing has happened. Until now, the negative force, Satan, whatever you want to call it, has no access to that. It's purely God. It's purely the life force. I know this is a little bit technical, but if we understand it, then we can make really use of it in everything that we go through. So every thought that comes to your head, whatever it is, relationship, financial, health, whatever thought that comes to your mind, he puts it into your mind for a very, very good reason. And when the thought comes and you absorb it and you understand it, it's still untouched. It's still virgin. Nothing has happened to it. And again, Satan has no access to everything that is beyond these 7 lower Sefirot. They call these 3 Sefirot Gar, which means it's the higher level of consciousness, and no energy can affect it. Now, let's say the thought of going to New York has come to your head, and you think about it. Oh, New York, I love New York, I want to go to New York. Then you start processing going to New York. You tell yourself, well, I need to get a ticket, right? I need to call American Airlines to get a ticket. When he gives you that thought, he wants you to go to New York. He wants you to go to New York for a good reason. But then, these 6 Sefirot, we call it Zeir and Pin. It's the Yud Hey, it's the Vav of the Yud Kei Vav. It's the Zeir and Pin. What is Zeir and Pin? It's where the thought becomes process. You tell yourself, okay, I need to buy a ticket. I need to get some jacket because New York might be cold. I need to call my cousin when I get to New York. So you start putting the 2 and 2 together. Chances are that you might say, you know what, I'm tired of traveling. I don't want to go to New York. You change your mind. Or a thought comes to your mind regarding doing a business, right? You think, oh, I better go buy this property. You think about it, it's a good property, I should buy it. Then when the process of manifesting that thought comes to your head, then you may run into some challenges of, can I afford buying this business? How long is it going to take? Or going back to the example of going to New York, do I really have the energy to sit in the airplane for 6 hours? No, I don't. So what happened in Zerapi, in these 6 lower Sefirot? Now the negative energy, the Satan, whoever you want to name it, here where the Satan, the negative energy, can impact the process of what you're supposed to do. If the negative force doesn't want you to go to New York, it's going to tell you, it's expensive, 6 hours of flight, it might rain in New York, why do you really want to go? So the negative side, which wants you to earn it going to New York, You see, when you're going to New York, you're supposed to feel like this was your idea, it's a good thing, I want to go through it, I go through the challenges, I buy the expensive ticket, I burn the 6 hours flight, this is good for me, I'm going to go visit my friends there. So there is a positive energy who wants you to earn that travel trip, who pushes you to go. Then on the other hand, you may run into some thought pattern that tells you, nah, you don't have to go. It's cold. You've been in New York. Whatever. Something wants to block you reaching your goal. And that's the Vav of the Yud Kei Vav Kei. The last stage, which we call Malchut, which is the last Hey of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, is when you either made it to New York or you never made you made it to New York or you never made it to New York. If the Satan succeeded in his mission to block you to go to New York, then you fail to manifest that potential of the light that you were supposed to do that day. I say God comes to your head and says, go out with this girl if you're a boy, all right? And you think, oh, she's a nice girl, da-da-da, I should go out with her. That's where the light comes in. That's all the light. There is no Satan, there is no negative force. God wants you to go out with that girl because it's probably good for you. You're going to learn something from it. Or you might even have a relationship, soulmate relationship. Then when you start thinking, is she going to accept me calling her for a date? Is she good enough? Does she have all the things that I want from a girl? So during that third phase of Ze'er Anpin, the negative force is going to come in. Why the negative force will come in? Because he wants you to earn it. Otherwise, if the negative force wasn't in there, and God would tell you, go marry this person, and you go marry it, that's it. There's no earning it. There's no challenge. You don't really enjoy it. It wasn't you who decided to marry, or it wasn't you who decided to go to travel, or it wasn't you who decided to make this business transaction. You understand? So the negative side, I don't want to even call it negative as negative bad. Negative means a challenge. Once it's like a teacher. When you go to school and the teacher gives you a test. Why? Is the teacher negative? In a bad way? No. The teacher is there for you to earn your degree. So the Satan comes in the form of a teacher who challenges you. You decide to become an engineer, become a doctor. The idea of becoming that engineer, that doctor, that painter, that architect is the thought level that God put you in your head. That's your mission in this life. You're supposed to be that architect, that doctor. And when you decide to do it, you're still in the realm of the light. When you go through the process of earning it, it's where the challenge comes. And if you make it, if you go through the process or the hardship to reach what you want to reach, then you've made it. Then you have made what he wanted you to do. So every challenge that we face every day, every thought that comes to your head, it's from the life force. Every thought that comes to your head is from the life force. Why certain thought comes to you and other people have different ideas or different thoughts? Because everybody is supposed to create a different reality. Someone has to be an engineer, someone has to be an architect, someone has to be a painter, someone has to be a doctor. And then when we go through the process, when we earn it, then, when you earn your degree, when you earn your diploma or whatever that is, then you feel wonderful. Because the idea came, the purpose of your life was to achieve what it came to you, and you achieved it, you earned it, and that's most probably when you're going to be super happy with yourself. Now, through this process of the Vav and a Hey of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, or through the process of what we call Ze'er and Pin and Malchut, because we constantly receive ideas, we constantly receive light, are you able to shut your mind down for a split second? No. No. It's so difficult to shut down the thought pattern that comes to your consciousness. We're bombarded with millions of thoughts that comes to our head. That shows how much potential we have to do what we need to do. The negative side doesn't want you to reach the maximum potential of you, what you can be. So you constantly put a blockage in front of you, in a form of emotion, in a form of reactivity, in a form of doubt, in a form of sadness, in a form of disappointment, in any form possible. The negative side wants to stop you reaching what you need to achieve, or manifesting what you're supposed to here to manifest. So what do Kabbalists do when they get up early in the morning and they go through everything that they go through? The first thing, foremost, is to inject certainty, emunah, in everything that comes to their head. If I have this idea, first I have to realize, if I have this brilliant idea of going to New York, understand that it's not you that came up with this idea. It's God's thought for you. It's God's plan for you. So you put certainty in it, because there is, again, I really want you to understand that every thought that comes to your head, every thought of creation, every thought of positivity, every thought of procreating, every thought of achieving, every thought that is beyond your comfort zone, every thought that is beyond your comfort zone, every thought that pushes you to become somebody better, to become somebody more proactive, more positive. It's the thought that is originated in Keter by the Creator, and it's for your own good. So everything that comes to my mind, or everything that happens to my mind, I immediately have to inject certainty that this is from the light force. This is from the light force. And if he thinks that I should be a painter, if he thinks I should be an architect, if he thinks I should be an engineer, then this is the best scenario for me. This is what I need to do. He wants the best for me. Then I go through this process that, okay, in order for me to reach all these goals, there is pain involved. There is a process involved. There is work involved. I need to earn it. I just don't become the best painter in the world overnight. Nothing happens overnight. There is a process. That's why Ze'er Anpins, there are 63 levels of consciousness exist. So this process, this physical process that takes, should encourage me, should help me to go through what I need to go through to achieve what I need to achieve. And if we want to be successful in everything that we do, and not to fall away from the path or the GPS of God, is to ask Him constantly, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Imagine you go through your day. You decide to come to the Kabbalah class tonight. You left Westwood, and you're coming to Tarzana to come to the Kabbalah class. As even you're driving, coming to the Kabbalah class, which is a good thing. That was the thought that the Creator put it in your head. You know what? Go to the Kabbalah class tonight. That was his thought. And now you get on a 405, and there is tremendous amount of traffic. Now that you're driving, you're not in the realm of Gar anymore, you're in the process. That's where the Satan can come in. Now the traffic may cause you, what a mistake you got on the freeway. Why don't you just turn back and go home? Right? Or you get frustrated. Why there is traffic in Los Angeles? Oh, I need to put gas. Everything that could give you a bump along the road to prevent you getting here, or prevent you coming here with not so excitement, not with absolute desire for you to come. This is the time that you need to put certainty again into every aspect of your process and telling yourself, if there is traffic in front of me, then God wants me to exercise patient understanding. Maybe I need to be there at a certain time. And appreciate the process that He puts in front of you. And keep going back to the thought that if He wanted me to go to the Kabbalah classes, then in order for me to truly earn that class, I welcome all the challenges that comes between where I am and where I'm going. Appreciating the process. Because it's not just reaching the goal, being there at that time. It's about how do you go through this process. So you constantly tell yourself, why God created this traffic for me? This is a silly example, but I hope we can make sense of what we're doing. So you constantly connect to this higher realm of consciousness, which we call the Creator, God, or whatever you want to call it. When you maintain your consciousness to what He wants you, why He puts you there, why is He creating this scenario for you, then you stay on the right GPS. You stay on the right path. You go through it, and whatever you go through it, it's for your growth, it's for your benefit, it's for you to encounter what you need to encounter. Through this pathway of you going from point A to point B, everything that comes between these 2 points is exactly what you need to go through to earn the fruit at the end of the line. Is it clear? Now I have a question for you guys. I want you to think for a moment. What are the biggest goals that you set for yourself in life? Think about it for a second. What goal, the biggest goal of your life, that you set for yourself? And where are you with that goal? From phase 1, phase 2, where are you? Are you still in phase 1? Is it still in thought process? Is it in your wish basket? Wish list? Your bucket list, what do you call it? Or have you totally decided you want to do it? Are you in process of Zeir Anpin? Are you working on it? Have you reached it? Where are you with that most important decision of your life? Think about it. And find out where you are with it. Let's say you decided, let's go back to the New York trip, which is not a biggest decision you want to make in your life. But where are you with it? Have you really decided to reach where you wanted to reach? What is blocking you of not reaching that original thought that you wish and you know it's good for you and you want to be there? What is blocking you? Where are you? And where is this negative energy? If you haven't received it yet, if you haven't achieved it yet, it's something that you know he wants you to achieve and to receive. Because whatever thought he gives you, he knows you're capable of achieving it. If you thought of becoming a painter, it's not just because some crazy thought came to your mind to become a painter. No, if he puts you in your consciousness, that means you have absolute capability to become the best painter in the world, in his work. And where am I in this work? Anybody wants to share?
I have a question.
Juna.
What if it's like, I mean, like, you kind of like touched on it, I feel like, with some of the different things you said, but what if you feel like it's something that's not in your control? Like, for example, if it's a career that you're trying to excel to a certain point, like, that's in your control, and you work harder, and you do this, you do that, but what if it's a relationship, for example, that another person's involved in, like, you want it maybe, but, you know, what do you do if you feel like it's not in your control to do it?
Then I have to go back to these 4 phases that we talked about. Who put that thought in my head? Was it my thought, or was it the creation thought? Is it my desire, or is it God's desire? And that's a very, very sensitive conscious that we need to become clear with. You know, I could have some desire of my ego too. You know, I want to be the best piano player in the world. Is it my ego who wants to be the best piano player in the world, or is it God's desire to become the best player? And how can you distinguish that? How can you distinguish that your desire is a godly desire, or is it the ego desire? Beautiful question. How do we know that? How could you differentiate? Is that it's your desire? Was it your thought, or is it God's thought?
Is it for you only, or is it to share?
For you only, or for you to share. What do you mean? Can you expand that, John?
If your thought would be for you only, that is from your ego. But if you were you're doing it to share with others, then that is from life.
Beautiful. The answer that Saijun gave is almost perfect. Every time that a thought comes to your mind, let's say the thought comes to your mind to become the best CPA in the world, accountant in the world. If that thought is only satisfying you, you're doing it for the sake of honor, you're doing it for the sake of ego, comfortability, money, physical, and it only benefits you. If you're after that thought to satisfy only you, it's not God's thought. But if the thought comes to your mind, and not only you benefit from it, the whole world would benefit from it. If the thought of me playing piano is not just for me to feel amazing that I'm playing piano and everybody says, wow, Nader, you are Beethoven, you know? And I get so psyched up being Beethoven, and I want everybody to love me because I am such a musician, then that's not the thought of God. That's my ego. And that's not probably an original thought. But if the thought that comes to my mind, and not only fulfills me, it benefits the world. It benefits, globally benefits. Let's say someone wants to be president. Someone wants to be the president of a country. If his desire is only for his own glory and for his own control and his own name and his own honor or pride, he should never be the president. It's a desire of his ego. It's not desire of the soul. So we have two different desires, two different thought patterns. One is the thought pattern of the body, of the ego, of the selfishness. And one is a desire of God. And what's so interesting is, what's so amazing is the way you can tell the difference is fulfilling God's desire requires work. It's not easy. It's against your comfort zone. You have to move when you don't want to move. You have to give when it's difficult for you to give. You have to say no when it's difficult for you to say no. You have to extend yourself when it's difficult for you to extend. Let's say you're sitting home and a thought comes to your mind to visit, you have a friend who's sick. Right? It's a good thought. It's a right thought. It's a positive. It's not for you. You're going somewhere to help somebody's hall, you know. And then, but then, you know, you're sitting home and you're watching your favorite movie channel, movie theater, whatever, show, and you don't want to go. When it's difficult for you to go, when the negative side gives you something sweet and easy and tempting, you know that that's the thought of God. That wants you to do what is uncomfortable for you. It's beyond your comfort zone. It pushes you. It makes you move when you don't want to move. It makes you give when you don't want to give. You know, they say, I had this teacher, I still have him, and he would come to me, he would come for donation. And he would say, no, give me donation. And it was comfortable for me to give him $100. That was comfortable with me. He said, no, give me $1,000. Excuse me? He goes, if it's difficult for you, then it works. If it's beyond your comfort zone, then it works. If it's comfortable for you, you're doing it for your own ego. But when it's beyond your comfort zone, when you really need to get it out of you, go work on it, it's difficult for you. But you know it's the right thing. You know visiting a sick is a good thing to do. Of course, it's Sunday, I'm watching my favorite show, I don't want to go. That's the time to go. When it's difficult for you, when it's beyond your comfort zone, you know that the thought is the right thought. Of course, it's good to do the good thing. But the level of the light that you create by going through difficulties, by pushing yourself, and that's how we grow. That's how we achieve. That's where we reach what we are supposed to reach. In a nutshell, just to make things easy, we all know what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do. We all know. Deep inside, when you go back to your thoughts, any decision that you want to make, anything that you want to do, if you're truly honest with yourself and if you go back in your thoughts, and when you go back to your thoughts, you reach to this level that the Satan has no influence on it. You go back to that thought and you ask, even if you're not clear, when you're not clear, that means you are in Zerarpin, you are in the process where Satan has some power over it, when temptation has power over it, when jealousy has power over it, when ego has power over it, when doubt has power over it. But when you go beyond that, and you can always connect to it, and you can ask to go there. You know, sit for a second, do a little meditation, tell yourself, God, what do you want me to do? What should I do? What is the right thing to do? And I purely go beyond my ego, what is comfort with me, what is easy for me. And he tells you. And he tells you, it's become clear. You all of a sudden, you become clear what is the right thought, what is the right thing to do. And it's always difficult. If it's not difficult, No pain, no gain. It's the cliche, it's always work. Satan job is easy. Negative job is easy. You know? It's easy. The reward is very quick with Satan. Reward with God, it's not overnight. It's not immediately. It always takes time. Sometimes we don't see it immediately. Sometimes we don't see it for years. We don't see the fruit of our work, sometimes for years. Because that earning requires time. I need to go through a process of consciousness to understand it. With Satan, it's easy. With Satan, you shot, God forbid, heroin, 1 second you're in Bina. Right? Immediately, quick. One sniff of Asf Shalom cocaine, you're there. It's easy, quick. Temptation is there, you're there. No effort is required. Just a weak mind, just a temptation, just a self-satisfaction, just a quick, instant gratification. That's the work of Satan. Not doing anything about it, wanting it right now, wanting to solve it right now, wanting to overcome it right now. I want everything right now. I want everything right now. I want it my way. That's the sign of Satan. That's the sign of ego. The work of God, the real purpose of our soul, takes time. Requires work. Requires sacrifices. The thing that I need to push away from myself. And that's how we can tell the difference. Any question? No?
What about the people have a bad thought, like a criminal people, the people going to do something bad? What is that? I mean, just like how they get that bad thought to do the bad thing?
Who are the criminals? Who are the ones who do the most horrible thing in the world? They are the most unsatisfied people in the world. These are the people who don't want to earn the life that they have. They're ruled by their anger, they're ruled by their ego, they're ruled by their hate. Hate, anger, these are all byproducts of ego. Even people who, God forbid, commit suicide, they are the most selfish of all. But then when we fall into darkness, the more one person falls into darkness, the more darkness is become. They see less of the light. And then they become victims, they blame the whole world. They blame nations, they blame justice, they blame, and then they become full of the dark side. They become full of negativity, and unfortunately they do what they do. But when you are on the right path, when you do positivity, when you work on yourself, when you ask God, and you stay with His plan for you, which is an amazing plan that requires work, you'll never go there. You'll never go there. Okay. Yes?
So, if I'm on a plan,
Yes.
What I think is the purpose, and like the divine mission, as you were saying. For example, if I want to go through medical school to become a doctor.
Yes.
How do I know if the challenges I'm facing, the obstacles, the insecurities, the stress, how do I know if it's an obstacle for me to overcome, or is it the Creator's way of saying you're on the wrong path?
You always go back to the original thought. You always go back to the original thought. The original thought for you was to become a doctor. Work of a doctor is not just for himself, it's for the benefit of human being. Now for you to earn that, you go through the obstacle. These obstacles can be very difficult for some people, and God forbid they may drop out, or they may not continue what they need to continue. But for someone who goes back to the original thought, that when I end up being a good doctor, I want to be for people. I want to heal people. And in order for me to become the best healer in the world, best doctor in the world, I need to see all these obstacles and challenges for me to grow, for me to be humble, for me to earn it, to become the best I can be. So it's always two things. I'm going to repeat it. Good question, Kambis. Two things. Always have certainty in where you are. Have certainty into where you are. This is most important. If you don't inject certainty into where you are, then you're lost. Then the doubt, which is the darkest form of negativity, can totally throw you off the GPS. It's the doubt that throws you off your path. And then, once you inject certainty that, you know what, no matter what the obstacle is, no matter what it is, I'm here now. And it's good for me. This obstacle today, it's good for me. He created it for me. It's all good, wonderful. And what was my original thought? Don't lose your focus of the original thought. That you decided to become whatever you wanted to decide, whatever you want to achieve. And if that achievement is something that you know God likes, then you continue. Then you welcome the challenge, and you welcome the obstacle. And you go through it. You may experience pain, but you're not going to experience suffering. Juna.
You're saying that usually the original thought is the most godly thought or appropriate?
The original thought is always godly.
No matter what it is?
No matter what it is. No matter what it is. The thought comes to your head to buy a book. It comes to your head to go to New York. The thought comes to your head to do a business. The thought comes to your head to get into a relationship. That thought, there's a purpose for that thought that God put it in your consciousness. We don't create thought. We're just the receivers of the thought. And every thought has a light at the end of the process for us. And I have to go through that process to see the light. Let's say a thought comes to you to be with someone. The ending of being with someone may not be a Hollywood ending, right? And then you would ask yourself, did God put that thought in my head to go to this relationship and then not having a perfect relationship at the end? Yes, because during that process that you go through, there was something for you to learn and to grow and to overcome. One thing that is not God's is regret. Every time we fall into the regret, know this, that is not from the light force. God doesn't want you to regret. God wants you to learn from something and move on. Regret is the action, is a work of Satan. Why did I go through this relationship? Why I wasted, it's just an example. Why I wasted 2 years of my life being in this relationship? Or why I wasted 2 years of my life being in this business? Or why I wasted 2 years of my life? No, you didn't waste anything. Everything that you went through, because the beginning thought of it was God, and you went through it, it was good for you. There was something for you to learn, to cleanse, to go through. And when you come to that realization that whatever you went through, it was good for you. You learned. You grew in it. And not have any regret about it, not having regret about it, that means absolute certainty. Regret is the byproduct of doubt. I shouldn't have done that. That's doubt. No, you should have. You went through it. It was part of your growing up. It's part of you maturing. It's part of you evolving. Even if it was bad, even the experience didn't conclude in a Hollywood ending. Still, if you cherish it, that it still was good, is always good. You know, I always say, going on a vacation is always good, regardless. If you go to a vacation and everything is fantastic, you go to this beautiful resort and everything, the weather is beautiful, you have the most beautiful room, and the people you are with are excellent, and you come back fresh, fantastic, good. And if you go to a vacation and nothing really works, it still is good. Still is good because you learned something. You went through a process that you grow something, you experienced something that was you wouldn't experience it if you would have stayed here. So regret, again, is the byproduct of doubt, and we should never have doubt. Of course, life is not a straight line. It's up and down, it's up and down. We constantly go through these challenges of the Zeher and Pin and Malchut. It has to be. God could have created these three and boom, go to Malchut. Right? You want to become a painter? Tomorrow morning you're going to become a painter. Big deal. You didn't earn it. You wouldn't enjoy it. You weren't happy with yourself. So this process of up and down has to be there. It's part of growing up. It's part of achieving. It's part of earning it. And when you receive it, when you face it and you receive it and you appreciate the falling, you appreciate the difficulties, is when you really made value for every second of that process. The process, you know, the process that we talked about, which is part of the Yud K Vav K, the process is the Vav. Yud Hey, Vav Hey. Vav is the Erampin. The numerical value as Vav is actually 6, which is the 6 Sephirot. You know, every columns of the Sefer Torah starts with Vav, except a few places, except 6 places. Every column starts with Vav. And every column of the Sefer Torah is the blueprint of your life. So every time that you look at the Torah and you feel spiritual or you feel lifted, why do you see that? You see all these letters which are the blueprint of your life. And what does it start with? Vav. Process. You gotta go through process. And the Vav, if you look at the Vav, is the Yud that is extended. Extended where? Downwards. That means you bring the light, you get the light, and you bring it down to this physical world. That's how you make it manifest. So it's all about appreciating the process, not just the end result, appreciating the process. Any more questions? We're good? You want to do a quick kind of a koach and a meditation? Satchel. Sorry. We have a very good air conditioning that either works or it doesn't work. So we're going to say another koach. With this kavanah, with this thought, that there is so much that I can do and I should do. There is so much that the light force wants me to create and to manifest. And I'm going to benefit from it. And the whole world is going to benefit from it. I want to be involved in something that not only individually is beneficiary, globally is beneficiary. And you want to ask God to help you to go through this process, to see the light in every step of the process of reaching where we need to